Hi, today we're going to be making an animal mask out of clay. And what we need are some art materials. And oddly enough, I'm using a person mask. This is a mold, plastic mold. We're going to need a plate. And the plate is used so that when we make the mask, we can turn it around and get all those details that we need. You're also going to get a piece of plastic. This piece of plastic is just saran wrap, but we're going to place that over top of our mask like this. So when we put that clay down, we'll be able to gently peel it off when it's already a mask. So here we go. I'm going to take my rolling pin. Now my rolling pin, I have handles on it, but you can use a wooden dowel just like a broomstick. But what I do, instead of holding them like the handles, I hold them here. Why? Because if you hold them here on the handles, sometimes if you're a righty, you tend to use more pressure on the right or use more pressure on the left. So I'm going to start right in the middle. I'm going to place my body over top of my clay. All right? And the reason so that I can use my shoulder muscles. Here I go. I'm going to start rolling my clay. And when you see it, you'll notice that the clay starts to stretch. Notice that? It's starting to get longer. Right? Then, after I go up and down, I'm going to go across. I'm rolling. See, I'm moving my shoulders. You might even see my shoulders once in a while. Here's my shoulders. There we go. And last but not least, you'll see I'm going to make an X. Because then, if something isn't even, it should get even then. Now, I don't want this so thin, and that's the reason for the rollers. If I roll my last roll over top of this roller, you'll notice that it cannot get, I'm using it like a train track, you can't get it any thinner than the thickness of that roller. Pretty awesome, right? Now I'm going to gently move my roller over because you never know when you need to make another slab for something. Here's my cool mask I'm going to do. I'm going to decide this time I'm using a tiger design that I created. Last time I made a person. So here's how I do my tiger. Now these are some features I might use. Here's some eyes. I could make it more human looking. I could turn it to make it look more like an animal if I wanted. He definitely needs some kind of nostril depending on what kind of animal he is. He needs ears. So these are some ideas. And the really cool thing is we have our mold. Now I'm going to place my clay over top of the mask. Now notice I'm putting my plastic really, really, really close. All right, not wrapping it, but close enough. I've got my paper on the plate. I've got my mold on the plate. I'm going to lay my mask right over top. You ready? Now, if you need help, you can ask a neighbor. I'm going to try to make it wrap gently around. And you're going to notice, and I'm going to stretch this a little bit. Voila. You're going to notice that when you stretch it, the clay tends to crack a little, or they call them wrinkles. I hate that term. So here's some wrinkles right here. You see the wrinkles? Oh, there it is. Real wrinkles here, wrinkles here. How can you cure the wrinkles? Well, I wish it was so easy for me. All I have to do is take my finger, not so much that a duck will land on it, a little drop, just a little drop of water, and there it's nice and clear. Now you'll also notice I've got some sides here that are a little shorter than the whole side of the mask. I'm going to use that as my measurement as to where I want this mask to stop. I'm going to take a stick and cut it all the way around here. Here I go. Now some boys and girls say, you know what, I've got a lot of clay. And let me move this a little further. There you go. There we go. Now, they say, oh, I've got a lot of clay, so I can use this. Well, if I wanted to, I could take my pencil, my little wooden stick, it's actually called a skewer. They use it also for cooking. And I could draw where those ears would be, all right? Or I can place them on later. I think I'm going to place mine on later. So here I go. I'm just drawing a line first. I'm not pushing real hard, but I'm drawing a line, and you notice how cool I can turn my mask whenever I'm working. See? And I'm trying to line it up with that edge. Okay, see that? My edge. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm always turning my mask. Now, when I know for sure that's the right size for me, I'm going to take my stick. And I'm really going to cut. Here I go. I'm going to cut pieces off. Here's a whole piece. Now I'm not going to roll it in a ball. I'm going to keep it because I might want to make color in my ears out of it. I'm going to do the same thing on this side because I've got a nose, I've got some whiskers, I've got all different things. Now we will be drawing some of the decorations for my mask, like those lines for my tiger face. I will be drawing those, okay? So here's the next step. And I usually keep my design near me. All right, so here's my design. Now, the next thing is you can see how rough it is around the edge. Do you see that? It's so rough. So what I do is I take a little bit of that water and I smooth out the edges. Why? Because if I don't and this dries, it gets very, very sharp, and I don't want to have to file it down later like with a nail file. So I'm making it nice and smooth. There we go. Yay. Alrighty, now I'm ready to rock and roll. Now I've got my base. This is called a template for the mask mold blank. This is a blank right here. Now this one, look at this. This I stuck in the kiln. Pretty wild. Look how weighted it is. It's the same exact clay as I used here. But when you put it in the kiln, it ends up drying all that water that's making your clay soft. Now, you don't want to overwork your clay, because if you overwork your clay, your hand acts like a sponge, and you end up soaking up some of that water, and it ends up drying and cracking. Now that I have my mask, I'm going to decide which way I'm going to put my eyes, my nose, and my mouth. Now, look what I made. For you, I made a template. Now, sometimes as you get more experienced, you're able to make your own shapes, but this is a simple template. It means it's a pattern that I can use to put my face on it. Do you see how it's starting to look like an animal already? And I even have some eye templates. This is actually like a person's eye too, only it tilts down below. Pretty neat. And I'm going to place some right here. So are you seeing that cat starting to work? All right, so now I've got to create all those things. So I'm going to get another piece of clay. Sometimes I have to roll two pieces together. I think I'll do that now. I'm going to roll two pieces together, and that way if you have some extra clay, you can use it. Pretty cool. There we go. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to use my rolling pin. Now, like I said, you might want to use those rollers again so you don't make it too thin. Here we go. Ooh. And I'm rolling back and forth. Remember, I'm going to go across. I don't want it thicker than my pinky. About the thickness of a ruler would probably be better. Okay, so here's a nice piece. I'm going to check and say, hey, if I put that down here, I'll be able to add my ears on this piece and my eyeballs. Yes, I need to. So here I go. I'm going to take my pencil. Move that up a little bit so you can see. Voila. Move it back. Yay. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to take my clay, lay it down. I'm going to take my stick, and I'm going to trace. Now, I don't have to push down hard first. Now, these things like my nostril, I will cut out or draw lightly later. Could you add that piece on of the nostril? Sure, but you don't have to. Now you can see I'm cutting away some of that clay that I had, and it kind of looks like a cookie cutter, right? And you don't have to go exactly by mine. You might want to create your own. But because we have a short amount of time, I'm going to use this one. Now I'm gently pulling it up off the tablecloth. Now when you roll your clay out, sometimes you have to hold your knee on the side of the table so that it does not move. The tablecloth doesn't move while you're working. So here's my one. My head ready. Voila. That's the pattern. And now I have my ears. Now, how do I make two ears the same? Very simple. I'm going to make one pattern. Trace it. Now this is a simple triangle ear. And here we go. I don't need that pattern anymore because I could just take my other piece of clay and use it as its stencil. Pretty cool. So when I take them apart, voila, there I have two ears. Pretty neat. Okie doke. Now, the last but not least, I'm going to have eyeballs. So I'm going to take my eyes. Here's my clay eye. I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to, remember, do you see the thickness? It's about 1/4. Okay, it's about 1/4. All right, I'm going to lay it down. Trace it. Now remember, I removed some of that clay that's in the way. All I need is one template because I can use it 2 times, or I could make my next. So here it is. Pretty cool. Here it is, all set up. Now I'm going to take and make my next one. I could use that, or I could use this, right? Here we go. There we are. And on Tracy, it kind of looks like a parrot, doesn't it? Somebody said that to me anyway. And here I go. So now I have all my ideas, all my materials, and now I'm going to lay it all together. Alrighty, now, here we go. Here I've got my mask. Pretty cool. I'm going to make this a little smaller so you can see it a little better. Here we go. Yay. Alrighty. So now where am I going to place this? Well, I can't just lay this face down, and I can't put the eyes just down like that, or else, of course, they will fall off. So what do? Get ready. I'm going to take, first I'm going to put my eyes on. And when I put my eyes on, I have to score my eye. Now this is where I want it, and if I want to, I could kind of show you where this eye is going to go. The eye part's here, but then right here, but then we also have a pupil. So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to make, they're called cross hatches or scoring. Some kids go, score. I'm going to take some water. Now watch. I'm going to put enough water, kind of like a duck will land on it. Oh, that sounds silly, but look at this. See? I put enough, so if you look closely, do you see that? You can see the water is going into all those crevices, kind of like an English muffin. Then I'll take my stick. I'm going to do the same thing where my eye's going to be. Look, kind of wild. Then I'm going to take my water, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. Now remember, it's got to have enough that a duck will land on it. Now, I'm going to lay this down on top. Now what that will do is it'll create a vacuum. I'm pressing down lightly, and when I press down, because I have enough water, I have a lot of water, you might even see some little water bubbles. Do you see those water bubbles over there? Okay, that means that the air bubbles, the air is coming off and it's starting to connect. Now, what do I have to do next? I have to weld it. All right, so let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my stick, I'm going to tilt it on this side, or somebody said to me, can I use a clay tool? Sure. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it together.